Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a long wait, but we're finally almost there. We are on the home straight before the release of the first two codexes for 9th edition 40k, Necrons and Astartes, respectively. And it goes without saying that in the run-up to the release of these two codexes, well, GW would be doing a bit of a dump info-wise of maybe lore, rules, certainly rules, and information regarding these two factions. Obviously, I've said it before and I'll say it again, Necrons have really pulled spotlight here, just with the whole plethora of new designs, reimaginings, and new sculpts, just blowing the community as a whole away, really. And they are first, it seems, with the previews. Now, I've had a bit of an information dump just in general about Necrons and Astartes, Space Marines in the last 48 hours. I think a guide, a shipping manifest was released with the guide to prices for units and codexes and whatnot, and there's been a bit of a hoo-ha over some of the prices, particularly Silent King. I think he's weighing in as a bit of a pricey boy, is the old Silent King. To that, I would just say that, again, taste is subjective. Listen, boys and girls, you could charge whatever you want for anything, really. It's just whether people will buy it. I mean, fuck me. Some people in the world pay good money to have people shit on their chests. So, you know, it's each to their own, isn't it? If you want to pay that money, you will do. So that's about as much as I want to say on that subject. You know, taste is subjective, and, you know, if you want to pay the money, you will do. But going back to the actual rules preview, the big one, the one that's kind of like the linchpin, the thing Necrons do. It's reanimation. People were wondering how reanimation was going to be reworked, reworded, and I'm not too sure myself. I mean, I've got the rule in front of me. I've read it a couple of times just to see if I can get my mind around it, and I don't know if it's better or worse. I think it's better in some regards and worse in others than how reanimation works right now. Right now, how reanimation works is a group of, let's say, Necron Warriors, 20 Necron Warriors, takes a load of damage and 10 of them die. At the beginning of the Necron player's turn, that unit can roll 10 dice to see if those Necrons reanimate. And obviously, they can keep reanimating or attempting to reanimate at the beginning of every turn until they're at full strength or until the squad is gone. That's the way it works right now. It's basically like a sort of delayed feel no pain of a 5-up. So it's been reworked, and it's quite a wordy rule. We're going to go through it, and I'll tell you afterwards why I think it's more of like it's not better or worse, it's kind of like a side grade. Right. Reanimation Protocols. I'm not going to read the blurb at the top, obviously the fluff. Each time an enemy unit shoots or fights, so that's important straight away, no psychic shenanigans. It appears that Necrons can't recover from damage from psychic attacks. Probably going to get FAQ'd that. After it makes its attacks, if any models in this unit, the Necron unit, were destroyed as a result of those attacks, but this unit was not destroyed, this unit's reanimation protocols are enacted, and those destroyed models begin to reassemble. So basically there, according to that first paragraph, every time an enemy shoots or fights a Necron unit, doesn't include psychic attacks, I don't think, anytime it kills a Necron model, then the unit immediately begins to reassemble. Okay, so that's any time. So let's say you've got 2 squads of Space Marines, and every time one of those squads shoots or interacts with that Necron unit, they can attempt to reanimate. Reanimation always takes place after an attack or a shooting phase is taken against a Necron unit. So each time a unit's reanimation protocols are enacted, make a reanimation protocol roll for that unit by rolling a number of d6 equal to the combined wounds characteristics of all the reassembling models. Each reanimation protocol roll of a 5+ is put into a pool. A reanimation protocol can never be modified by more than -1 or +1. So basically, 5 Necron Warriors go down. The combined wounds characteristic of those 5 Necron Warriors are 5. You roll 5d6, and every 5+ gets put into a pool. It's really interesting they're saying that it can't be modified at +or -1 reanimation. I don't know of anything right now in the rules that'll give you a minus to reanimation. I know there's plenty of things that give you pluses, and we know the Canoptic Reanimator does the same. Does that, gives plus reanimation, so you'd be reanimating a 4+, which is a 50% chance the actual destroyed model will come back. The dice pool is an interesting slant to this rule, and I'll tell you why at the end, but moving on. If the number of dice in that pool is greater than or equal to the wounds characteristic of any reassembling models, select one of those models to be reanimated. A reanimated model is added back to this unit with its full wounds remaining. But it can only be set up with an engagement range of enemy units that are already with engagement range of the reanimated model's unit, so you can't reanimate into combat. Cannot, if it is your charge phase, be set up closer to enemy units that are targets of a charge declared by its unit this phase. So basically, if you declare a charge, you get Overwatch, the model dies, you can't reanimate that model closer, so you might be able to make the charge. I think that's what that's alluding to. No longer counters have been destroyed for purposes of morale test this turn, so basically it won't affect morale going forward. Basically, that pool of dice that you're building up, you get to buy back Necron models by paying for the wounds. So let's say a Necron unit with a model with 2 wounds died, you need 2 dice taken out the pool to bring that model back. Okay. You then reduce the number of dice in that pool by a number equal to the wounds characteristic of the reanimated model, and repeat this process until either there are no more reassembling models, or the number of dice reanimating in this pool is less than the wounds characteristic of any reassembling models. Any models that did not reanimate fail to reassemble. Any of the remaining dice in the pool are discarded. Right. Interesting things there. It doesn't say that the models fail to reanimate are destroyed, they just fail to reanimate. So they're still technically in play. But you've got to clear away the dice pool. So you only can build up a dice pool after you've become a victim of a shooting or a close combat attack. Now the dice pool thing is interesting to me, because right now you're thinking to yourself, well, this is worse than Reanimation Protocols, because you keep rolling dice for every, let's say if you're at 20 Necron Warriors and 5 get destroyed, you get to keep rolling reanimation until you're back at full strength at the end of your turn. But what I'd say this is better than Reanimation Protocols right now is because you get to interact with reanimation after every single attack directed at you. So essentially it's going to be harder to delete a Necron unit than it would be right now. Whereas the Necron unit will be slower to come back, if you get what I mean. And I believe, obviously you can't confirm this or deny this without looking at the entire rule set or the Codex. The way it says you've got a pool of dice, it wouldn't surprise me if certain Necron characters, warlord traits or stratagems allow you to add more dice into that pool to potentially return more models than were destroyed in that phase. Because as it stands with this rule right now, you will only ever be able to reanimate models that are just destroyed by the result of an enemy attack, or enemy shooting attack, or close combat attack. So one model was destroyed. Let's say a squad of 10 Necron warriors. You've lost 5, and 1 was just destroyed by like a shooting attack. You'll only get to reanimate that 1 that was destroyed by a shooting attack. The other 5, they're gone, according to this. Not destroyed. You just don't have enough dice to reanimate them. So that's why I think we had the rights of reanimation rule floated around on the internet a while ago. I think things like that will be able to give you dice to add into that pool, so you've got a better chance of you've got a chance of bringing back Necron models that are already dead. So good in the sense that a Necron unit will be harder to kill off, just because essentially you're getting like a feel no pain after every attack. Whereas right now you only get that feel no pain at the beginning of your next turn. So the Necron unit will technically be at the best possible strength it can be until it's completely destroyed. So it's good in that respect, but it's bad in the respect that you don't keep rolling for every destroyed model that has already been destroyed. You only get to roll for the ones that have just been destroyed. So I can see there being a few FAQs about this, because they try to be as clear with it as possible there. I mean, I definitely think they're going to FAQ the fact that, if they get hit by a psychic attack and they reanimate off that, and what happens to models that fail to reanimate. Are they destroyed, or, you know, will they be able to interact with other rules in some way? But that's reanimation protocols. They're arguably the most key rule in the entire Necron Codex, and I think it's better than it is right now. And I think it is, personally, I think it is not great because it makes them Necron units harder to shift, rather than just as it is right now, which just makes them annoying because they keep coming back. You know, you have the chance to like have many units back, many models back, rather than the ones that were just destroyed. So I think it's good because it makes Necrons harder and makes them less annoying. To, you know, that's probably just me being biased towards that particular rule because it's been particularly annoying for me to do it. But I do think this will make Necrons harder to delete. Now, Reanimation Protocols ain't the only thing we got. We also got a look at... essentially, it's like chapter tactics, I think. Right now, it's... I think Space Marines can lay out a battle plan where they can choose like different tactics or different sort of like turns. And it looks like Necrons are getting something similar. It's called Protocols. But I think Protocols, whereas the Astartes, I believe their chapter doctrines or whatever it is, affects the entirety of your army. I think these command protocols are stronger, but they can only affect the lords and the commanders and units that are within close range to them. Because as it says in the blurb here, something brand new for Necron Overlords to release upon the galaxy are command protocols. Before a game starts, you secretly assign one of 6 protocols to each of the first 5 battle rounds. Then, when you reach the relevant battle round, you choose from one of the 2 directives associated with the protocol to be active for that round. And any unit within 6 inches of a Necron character can benefit from it. So your Necron characters will be like auras for these command protocols. And they give an example of one here. So, Protocol for Sunstorm, Directive 1, add 1 to the move characteristics of models in the unit. Directive 2, if this unit is performing an action, it can still make attacks with ranged weapons without that action failing. So, obviously, this you might want to set this up later on in the game so you can like make charges, get to objectives better, or, you know, actually sit on an objective and contribute to fights. So it gives Necron players more tactical flexibility and being able to plan your games. And I can imagine that being quite gratifying if you could plan your game with all these protocols having an effect and having every single one of them really pay off in a big way. I can imagine that'd be quite gratifying. We already know, I think it was the Silent King, I think he can have both directives operating at the same time. I think it was a Silent King. I might be wrong there. I mean, let me know in the comments if I'm wrong, but I think he can have both directives, and we don't know what the other directives are, but this one's quite a good directive for Necron characters. Every single Necron character to have this. I mean, I know the Scorpic Lord would definitely appreciate the +1 to move, and, you know, if you're sitting on an objective or performing an action, being able to shoot is still that's a pretty damn good buff if you're all about capturing your objective, but still assisting firepower to delaying or destroying your enemy. Now, moving on, we've got the Hex Mark Destroyer here, the gun-toting nut job of the Necron army, a death mark that's fallen to the Destroyer curse. And this guy's good. I mean, Christ almighty. Pistols are an underrated gun, in my opinion, or an underrated type of weapon, just because you'll be able to fire them point blank when you're in close combat. It gives you... The weapons may have a shorter range, but it allows you to maximize the use of the model. And these pistols ain't no joke either. An 18-inch range pistol, so he's got 6 of these bad boys, so that's 6 shots at strength 6, -1 AP, 1 damage. I mean, this thing is going to be cleaning house with cultists. It's going to be hurting Astartes. Most infantry, this thing's going to be a threat to. And if you get in combat with the thing, he still gets to shoot. And he's got a rule here, multi-threat eliminator. Every time you kill a guy or a gal or whatever with one of these pistols, he immediately gets to make another attack. So technically, if this guy's on fire, he can make up to 12 attacks. 6 shots, or how many... Yeah, he's got 6 pistols, so 6 shots. If 60 things die, he gets to make 6 more shots. You know, this guy's... He's not a joke. Those pistols are not a joke to most things. Strength 6, 8 -8, 1 AP, 1 damage. This guy will hurt infantry. Big time. I mean, you can only imagine the kind of things he'll do to a character that's left on his own out in like a light sort of, maybe a Farseer or a lightly armored character left out on his own. And being a Death Mark, I am almost 100% certain he's going to be coming out from... I think he has, actually. I think he's in a rule preview where he can come out from, like, a deep strike and just obliterate things. No, there's my phone. So, yeah, this guy's going to be... It's going to be a menace for assassinating characters on the tabletop, I reckon. But, yep, the Monolith. A classic, iconic Necron unit. An iconic unit in 40k in general, the Monolith. Is just a big brick that's just dominates the battlefield, whatever battlefield it's on, just because of these are massive footprint. They've been retarted up, redesigned, and new rule set. So with the right now you can have the Glorious Flux arcs on them, so you can have 4 of those bad boys, but now you'll be able to replace them with Death Rays. So if you want less infantry killing and more vehicle killing or heavy monster killing power, you can with the Death Rays. And obviously, as you can see right there, Death Ray, Rage Ray 4, Heavy 1, Strength 9, minus 3 AP, D3 plus 3 damage. So always going to be doing a flat 4 damage, no matter what. 4 shots with that, probably hitting on 3s. Yeah, that's pretty good at taking out fucking monsters and vehicles. I'd say so. And then obviously, if you want to swap the Glorious Flux Art, that's there as well. I think that's pretty much the same. Maybe slightly better AP. Particle Whip, Blast, Heavy D6 shots, Strength 12, straight 3 damage. Yep, that's going to murderize heavy infantry and maybe light armored vehicles. Portal of Exile. For those of you stupid enough to get in close combat with one of these bad boys, yeah, you could get sucked straight through the portal and deposited God knows where. Each time an attack made with this weapon, that attack automatically hits the target. So, yeah, that's pretty fucking good. I want to know how many attacks the Monolith has got, because if it's got more than 1 attack, then that Portal of Exile could be fucking brutal, depending on what it is, like, you know, how many attacks it's got. And lastly, but not leastly, this is the thing I've been most interested in, the Katan Shard of the Void Dragon. Now, reading this straight away, well, previously, I was like, right, so we already know how the Katan are going to line up. The Deceiver is the utility one for redeploying shenanigans. The Nightbringer is the absolute beat stick in close combat, where, you know, you'll just hit and wound anything on 2s if it's not a vehicle. The Void Dragon, it seems like he's going to be out there hunting vehicles, and he's going to be doing that job pretty damn well. So he's going to have powers of the Katan, more than likely. But he's also, well, as you can see from his stat line there, he's no joke. Movement 8, Weapons and Ballistical 2, Strength 6, Toughness 7, Wounds 9, so character. Attacks 5, Leech of 10, 3 plus save. So, you know, he's got a better save than the Nightbringer and the Deceiver right now. He's got a 3 plus save, not a 4 plus regular, 4 plus invul. So that's not bad. But the weapons are where it's at. Spear of the Void Dragon, 12-inch gun, so we were a bit close range. Strength 9, minus 4 AP, D6 damage. Each time an attack is made with this weapon, if it hits a score, draw a straight line between the closest point of the model's base and that of the closest model in the target unit. Make 1 wound roll against the target unit, and each other unit this line passes over. Each time an attack made with this weapon is allocated to a vehicle model, that attack has the damage characteristic of D3 plus 3. So, always going to be doing 4 against vehicles. Shut up, phone. And, yeah, he's going to be hurting things that the line's passing over. Friend or foe, doesn't specify. Bloody hell, I am lighting up today. I'm sorry about that, everybody. But, yeah, this guy is going to be hunting vehicles. And Spear of the Void Dragon immediately. Shut up. Sorry, I'm going to turn this off now. I don't get that many... I don't get that many, like, beeps on my phone during the day, let alone just at night. Anyway, Spear of the Void Dragon melee, Strength plus 3, so he's rocking in Strength 9 again, minus 4, D6 damage. Each time an attack made with this weapon is allocated to a vehicle, the model's attack has a damage casting of, you know, D3 plus 3. So this guy's going to be hunting your vehicles, your knights, your big tanks. This thing is going to absolutely mess them up. Necrodermis, that's been reworded, and... right. This model is a 4 plus invulnerable save. In addition, this model cannot lose more than 3 wounds in any phase. Any wounds that would be lost after that point are not lost. Now, this rule had come into the game with Ghazghkull, and I knew it would start creeping into other armies. I knew it would, and I don't like it. I mean, I like the fact that, you know, the Shard of the Void Dragon or whatever it is, and by association, the Nightbringer and the Deceiver will have this rule because they both have Necrodermises as well. don't like the idea of a rule that stops a unit from taking more damage or caps its damage potential at a certain amount of wounds. And it's not for the reasons that you think, because I'm not coming at this from reason I was like, oh no, I won't be able to kill it. I'm coming at this from a standpoint of, I can see people absolutely taking this rule and kicking the shit out of it. Just absolutely cheesing it to fuck. Proper breaking the game with a rule like this. And I don't like it. I mean, I could be wrong, but I am worried that rules like this are just up for rampant exploitation that we'll just be seeing in meta lists up and down the world, like just how this rule will get abused. So it's not really. I just worry that a rule like this might just get abused. I didn't want to see it outside of Ghazghkull, because I thought that's just a nice little thing that Ghazghkull's got that makes him unique. And I think this rule is going to be creeping in all over the place now. I'm pretty sure that this rule is going to be creeping into Demon Princes, to Demon Primarchs certainly, probably Primarchs as well. And I'm not a fan of the potential for cheesing that this rule has. And that's it. I said my piece. It's a good rule, but I'm afraid that it's going to get seriously abused. But yeah, Necrodermis, yeah, it's there. And Matter Absorption. So at the end of each phase, roll a d6 for each enemy vehicle mod destroyed as a result of an attack made by this model, or a Katan power used by this model that phase. For each 2+, this model gains 1 lost wound to a maximum of 3 regained wounds per phase. So this thing is going to be going after vehicles. Any light vehicles, this thing's going to eat for breakfast and just get wounds back straight away. So yeah, knights, tanks, any light armor, watch out, because this thing will absolutely fuck your day up. But yeah, that's it for the first Necron preview we've got this week. And apart from obviously the Necrodermis rule, which I just had a little bit of a whinge about, yeah, I like all these rules. I think Reanimation may be a bit wordy, but I think its heart's in the right place. The protocols, command protocols, they're good. The Hex Mark Destroyer's Fistle's a fucking baller. The Monolith is, I think it's done justice with the redesign, and be able to obviously switch out the weapons and have those kind of weapons on anyway. And the Katan Shard of the Void Dragon, easily, in my opinion, the best looking model in the Necron range now, just because it's just so fucking weird and otherworldly with the no face. Great stat line, and for better or for worse, the rules to it are pretty damn good. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I mean, do these rules do it for you? Are you afraid that if you rock up against the Void Dragon, you're going to be on a one-way trip to Pain Town? Just all that good stuff in the comment section below. But yeah, we'll eagerly await more previews. I'm sure there's more on the way. But until then, I shall catch you all next time. See you later.